relief package is back up for negotiation in Washington this week. A bipartisan coalition called the Problem Solvers Caucus, made up of 25 Republicans and 25 Democrats, have been working for months on a compromise. Earlier this morning, I spoke to two members of that caucus, Minnesota Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips and South Dakota Republican Congressman Dusty Johnson. Here's our conversation. And joining us this morning are Congressman Dean Phillips of Minnesota and Congressman Dusty Johnson of South Dakota. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Good to be with you, Esme.
All right. Both of you, either one, take it away. Is this going to happen? The American people really need a stimulus deal from Congress. Will it happen this week?
I think so, Esme. I'm here in Washington right now. Dusty and I have been working on this for now many months, beginning in August. We initiated a small working group amongst our Problem Solvers Caucus members. We called ourselves the Tiger Team, thanks to Dusty. Came out with a plan called the March to Common Ground, which was well received by senators, members of the House, even the White House. It didn't go where we wanted it to, but we returned after Thanksgiving, actually during Thanksgiving, spent much of our holiday on the phone and conference calls trying to find common ground. I think we've run 99 yards, Esme. The last yard is going to be the longest, but I think we're getting awfully close. And thanks to my friend and partner, Dusty, who is amongst the most wonderful members of Congress and frankly has re-inspired my hopefulness.
Well, Congressman Johnson, let me ask you, I mean, you folks had this proposal out there on September 15th. That was 3 months ago. Leaders from both of your parties have been upset with the Problem Solvers Caucus because they felt that you're sort of intruding on the way things normally are done. Do you think this is going to happen? Are Republicans getting on board, as Congressman Phillips says, some Democrats are, but some obviously aren't?
Yeah, this is going to get done, and the last 10 days have shown a remarkable degree of momentum. You're right, our idea languished a bit out there, but we didn't give up. We kept building consensus. We added United States senators stepped up and joined us. And so 2 Tuesdays ago, we stood with those senators, Dean and I did, as well as some of our other House colleagues. We re-rolled out the plan, and since that time, the momentum has all been in the direction of getting this done. There have been some incredibly high-profile Republicans in the U.S. Senate and in the U.S. House who have endorsed our work, and that's why you're going to see this get done.
Okay. Congressman Johnson, I want to ask you another question. 60 to 70% of Republicans don't think that this election, the presidential election, was fair. You're one of a minority of Republicans that did not sign on board to that Texas lawsuit that was shot down by the Supreme Court. Is there still hope that a deal can be achieved when you have that kind of polarization?
Well, admittedly, I mean, it is worrisome to see people still so dug into their trenches of, left and right. And listen, I'm a proud Republican. I am conservative. I am right of center, and I believe that less government is better for our country. But I also understand that I'm not going to get a whole loaf. I've been married 20 years. I understand the nature of compromise. I understand that ultimately people like Dean and I have got to be focused on getting things done for this country. The American people have decided, whether we all like it or not, to put the Democrats in charge of the U.S. House and the Republicans likely in charge of the U.S. Senate. And that means we're not going to get anything passed if the Republicans and Democrats can't figure out what's good for America.
Well, and Congressman Phillips, let me ask you, I mean, Speaker Pelosi has been at times upset with the Problem Solvers Caucus, with the compromises that you and Congressman Johnson have reached across the aisle to achieve. You've gotten in trouble basically with the leadership over this. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I've taken some incoming, to say the least, Esme. But as Congressman Johnson just said, we've come to Washington not to necessarily climb the party ladders and to be good soldiers. We've come to get work done, and that's why the Problem Solvers are a rather unique bunch. We're willing to take political risk. We're willing to show some political courage to sit at a table that often doesn't reward us. It actually punishes us amongst our respective parties. So that's what I admire about my brothers and sisters on our caucus. We're not the average rank and file members. We're ones who actually are there to get work done. and are willing to take some risk and, frankly, take a lot of ire amongst some of our colleagues. But I also remind everybody that leaders in both the House and Senate, both sides of the aisle, had 7 months to get another piece of legislation completed after the CARES Act. They were not able to do so. I'm actually grateful right now that the leaders on both sides are letting we bipartisan, bicameral members get together, show that we can find common ground and get this done. And I think it's going to work. And if it does, it might be a new beginning for our Congress.
Well, Congressman Phillips and Congressman Johnson, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I think a lot of people are interested in the fact that your caucus and this effort at compromise is gaining more traction and a lot more attention. We'll have to see for the rest of this week. Thank you again.
Thank you, Esme.